But since we're talking about, this entire rural play hit and how consumption is slowing down, Vinod Aggarwal, MD and CEO at Volvo Eicher, joins in on the show right now to talk about how the sentiment has been for his company. Mr. Aggarwal, great to have you on ET Now. Morning. For the month of November, we've seen a 22% month-on-month decline for you in your sales. What's the anticipation for December and whether we can see a recovery? What's the sense that you're getting?
Uh, I think first of all, we should not look at month on month uh, because October is a festive month and November traditionally is lower than October. So therefore, if we compare with previous year, November to November, then we have a growth of 7.5%, even though there is a drop with respect to October. And of course, then the December is also better than November. So therefore, balance 4 months, we are expecting better industry figures as well as we should also do better.
Demand, has it got impacted because of the slowdown in the economy?
There has been some impact in the commercial vehicle industry this year because industry is not doing as well as it was expected in the beginning of the year. And that is largely due to some slowdown in the infrastructure projects. We expected very large capital expenditure to happen, but I think it has been slow to take off. But we are expecting good traction now because a lot of projects have been cleared now, and we are expecting that balance 4 months we will see good capital expenditure happening. And then of course last quarter traditionally also is very big. So therefore we are expecting that these 4 months we should make up something. If you look at overall 3.5 ton industry, first 8 months, the industry had dropped by 2.1%. And that also is aided by huge growth in the buses because buses have grown by 20%, whereas heavy duty trucks had dropped by 8% and light and medium duty trucks have dropped by 6%. So therefore, the trucks, there have been some drop. Buses have grown significantly. And as a result, overall, you see there is a marginal drop of 2.1%. But I think coming 4 months, we should see better.
Morning. Wanted to understand also what the outlook is on discounts. Are the discounts higher this time around this year to clear the inventory, and how do the current discount trends this time around compare to the previous years?
I think one good thing in the truck industry that the inventory problem is not there much because uh, I don't see there is any issue on the discounts. Discounts per se are continuing to be high. There has been some improvement on discounts, but of course the discounts in the commercial vehicle industry have been high for last few years, and we are expecting those discounts to come down only.
Okay. I just wanted to understand what the outlook is in terms of your export recovery. What is the outlook? Has the issue when it comes to the Bangladesh market been resolved? And which are the markets that are currently driving your export growth? Because I understand, at least on a month-on-month basis, there has been a 30% plus jump.
Exports, one good thing is that the industry has bottomed out. At one point, the exports, like for example, the Bangladesh market was, if you look at last year, it was down 85% as compared to its peak in 1890. Nepal market was down 90% as compared to its peak. And all other markets also were down significantly. So therefore, exports were down quite a lot till last year. But this year, the recovery has started. Even though there has been some setback due to Bangladesh. But if you look at first 8 months figures for the industry in exports, there has been growth only. There has been a growth of around 11-12% in exports out of the country for the industry. And even Bangladesh also, the figures are better as compared to the previous year. So even though the growth could have been more in Bangladesh, but because of the current problems, the growth has been less. On the other hand, as far as we are concerned, uh, our share of exports from South Asia, like Bangladesh, Nepal, or Sri Lanka, at one point we were largely dependent on these three countries. But now our dependence on these three countries is coming down, and our exports to Middle East as well as to Africa, they are increasing. And Middle East now we are almost having 20% of our exports are from Middle East, whereas in 2018-19, when we were having peak exports, our Middle East exports were only around 2-3%. So therefore, we have made significant gains in Middle East. We have made gains in rest of Africa as well as South Africa, and we are also entering Indonesia. So therefore, our dependence on South Asian markets of Bangladesh and Nepal is coming down, and our growth in the other areas is better.
Right. The other thing I wanted to, talk about also, Mr. Aggarwal, was how much contribution specifically have you seen from your electric segment within your total overall sales, and whether you see that pie increasing?
Of course, that will increase, but as of now, it is very, very marginal. As far as we are concerned, we have sold electric buses around 200 plus overall, and electric trucks also we have sold around 70, 75. So we have made the beginning, you can say, and we have the products, but of course, still it is a slow migration. Even the industry also, it is a slow migration. So therefore, as we move forward, you will see better performance coming from electric vehicles, both buses as well as trucks.
So what is the number you expect next year in terms of electric buses? And this is one space where everybody is excited, but competition is also intensifying. I look at the number of companies which are moving into electric cars and electric buses. I get to know a new name every month.
Electric buses, of course, there are some new names already which are there. And now we are expecting a lot more tenders to come out from CESL. One tender currently is already under bidding, which is around 5,000 buses. And next year we are expecting more tenders to come in. And now the payment security mechanism also has been put in place by Government of India. So therefore, I think there will be wider participation in these tenders. So next year you will see more tenders coming in, and if you go by the government estimates, I think they have given the under the Prime Minister e-drive scheme, I think around 15,000 buses will be covered under the subsidy scheme. Similarly, PM e-bus Seva scheme also, there have been quite a large number of buses which are going to be covered under that scheme. So therefore, government is come out with good schemes, and hopefully those should get implemented by next year.
Okay, and just to wrap it up with the export number, where do you see that number settling? Because while our domestic sector is different, global, every country has a different dynamic. What kind of number you expect your export to clock in for 2025?
For us or for industry?
No, for eicher.
I think this year we are currently first 8 months we are at around 3,000. So and which is grown by around 25-30%. Last year the overall industry, our sales were around 4,000 plus. Even though at peak in 18-19 our exports were 10,000. So fundamentally we have to cross the earlier peak, because as I mentioned earlier, we are becoming stronger in the countries other than South Asia. Because if previous year our sales in our exports to Middle East or Africa was very less, now those exports are going up. So eventually, when our exports to these countries also go up, and South Asian markets also come back in next 2-3 years, I think we have very high potential of export sales, even though it will happen slow and steadily. I don't expect that the recovery will happen very fast. So it will be slow and steady recovery, and year on year we will see good recovery happening. And this year, as I mentioned, already exports are recovering. So therefore, balance performance, I also expect exports to recover, and we should do better than last year's sale of around 4,000 units export. This year we should maybe have a growth of around 20-25% in exports.
Okay, Mr. Aggarwal, great to have you on the show. Thank you, as always, for taking time out.
Thank you.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.